We often treat our life stories like a massive, dusty tome sitting on a high shelf, a book we promise ourselves will finally finish someday when we have the time. But for many of us, that someday feels heavy. The very idea of writing a legacy feels daunting, a mountain of dates, complex genealogies, and grand summaries that we feel we must get exactly right before the clock runs out. But the Silver Compass philosophy views legacy through a different lens. Your legacy isn't a static monument, and it certainly isn't a tombstone. It is a living, breathing document. It's not a record of how you died or a list of titles you held. It is a map of how you saw the world. It's the color of your perspective, the rhythm of your values, and the unique light you brought to the lives around you. Today, we are putting down the burden of the official biography. We are releasing the need for a chronological checklist. Instead, we are picking up the pen of the architect. We aren't building a museum of the past. We are designing a sanctuary for the future. We aren't writing a book. We are designing a home, one memory, one lesson, one room at a time. You don't need 1,000 pages to leave a mark. You only need the courage to be honest. The blueprints are open and the ink is fresh. You are the architect of the architecture. The journey truly begins now.
The most common obstacle to writing your story isn't a lack of time, it's a whisper. It's that quiet, persistent critic in the back of your mind that says, "My life wasn't extraordinary enough to record." We look at the bookshelves and see memoirs of world leaders, explorers, and icons, and we mistakenly believe that a legacy requires a grand stage. We convince ourselves that unless we've changed the map, our journey doesn't warrant a compass. But neuroscience and history tell a much more intimate story. The most valuable legacies aren't about what happened, but how it felt. Your descendants don't need a cold list of your job titles or a chronological tally of your promotions. Those are just skeletons. What they crave is the flesh and blood of your experience. They need to know what the air felt like on the day you finally felt brave. They want to know the texture of your perseverance and the specific color of your joy. This is the fundamental shift from fact-gathering to truth-telling. A fact is a date on a calendar. A truth is the lesson you learned when the world felt like it was falling apart. When we stop trying to be impressive, we finally start being essential. Your ordinary moments, the quiet mornings, the hard decisions, the private triumphs, are actually the most extraordinary gifts you can leave behind. Don't wait for a grand finale to start writing. Your life is already a masterpiece of the everyday. Your perspective is the only one of its kind in the history of the world. The truth is ready. The journey begins now.
When we think of our lives, we often see a vast, churning ocean of events, too big to capture, too deep to map. This is where most people stop before they even begin. But to master your legacy, you must change your scale. Don't try to write the ocean. Just describe one wave. We do this through the tool of the vignette. A vignette is a short, focused scene, not a chapter, but a heartbeat. A true vignette is a single memory captured with all 5 senses. It's the sharp, yeasty smell of your grandmother's kitchen on a Sunday morning. It's the sudden, cold sting of the lake against your skin in the peak of July. It's the rhythmic, metallic clatter of the train that carried you to your very first job. These aren't just facts. They are sensory portals that allow someone else to step inside your skin and see what you saw. By focusing on this small frame, we bypass the paralyzing overwhelm of the big picture. You don't have to explain your entire career or justify your life's philosophy. You just have to describe the light hitting the window. These snapshots, these tiny polished gems of observation, are the bricks. They are the individual stones that, when laid side by side, build the magnificent cathedral of your life story. One wave, one scent, one sound. When you capture the small things, the big things take care of themselves. You aren't writing for the history books. You are writing for the heart. Find your first stone.
Most of us are familiar with the traditional will, a legal ledger designed to distribute what you have. It handles the property, the accounts, and the physical artifacts of a life. But the silver compass philosophy invites you to consider a more profound inheritance. An ethical will is designed to distribute who you are. It is not a document for a lawyer. It is a letter, or a series of letters, addressed directly to the future. This isn't about money or real estate. It is about the currency of the soul. An ethical will is where you store your values, your sincere apologies, and that hard-won wisdom that only the passage of time can provide. In your golden hour, you finally have the atmospheric clarity to see which lessons actually stood the test of time and which were just noise. You are identifying the truths that saved you, so they might one day save someone else. Writing an ethical will is the ultimate act of stewardship. You are essentially creating a manual for the compass you've spent a lifetime calibrating. You are ensuring that your internal north continues to point the way for generations you may never even meet. You are giving them a head start on character, a shortcut to kindness, and a map through the very storms you've already weathered. Your voice doesn't have to end with your breath. By putting your values into words, you turn your life into an eternal conversation. You aren't just leaving a legacy. You are becoming a guide. Write the heart.
How do we move from intention to action? We stop waiting. Most people wait for a lightning strike of inspiration that never comes. But the architect knows that inspiration is a follower, not a leader. To start building today, we use the 5-minute prompt. We don't wait for the mood. We use a trigger to force the gates open. Give yourself a specific target. Ask, what is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen? Or, when was the first time I felt truly independent? Don't overthink the question. Just pick the first image that flashes in your mind. Set a timer for exactly 5 minutes and write. Do not lift your pen. Do not hit backspace. Just let the ink flow as fast as the thought. In this window, grammar is irrelevant and proper writing is the enemy. You aren't crafting a final draft. You are mining for gold. You are digging through the dirt of the everyday to find the veins of truth underneath. The goal here isn't perfection, it is presence. It's about proving to yourself that your stories are reachable right beneath the surface. 5 minutes may feel small, but it is a fundamental unit of construction. 5 minutes of honesty today is a solid brick in the wall of the legacy you leave tomorrow. You are building a cathedral, one moment at a time. Set the timer. Think for a moment. What is the one story you've always meant to tell? Think of that specific room in your memory palace that has been waiting, perhaps for years, for the right words to bring it to life. Don't wait for a special occasion. Write it down today, while the light is still golden and the memory is still yours to claim. Let's start the archive together. Share just one sentence of your legacy in the comments below. A core value you hold dear, or a single memory you cherish. When we name our truths, we give them room to breathe. I'm Duquemarino. Keep your curiosity sharp, keep your compass pointing north, and remember, if you don't tell your story, the world misses a masterpiece. The journey truly begins now.